Hello there, this is DBT, and this is Art of Rooms. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt 9 for the last time. That's right, this is my farewell video to this version of the game, to Asphalt 9 on the Nintendo Switch, which is going away because by tomorrow, Asphalt Legends Unite will be dropping finally here on this platform, and while that is a bunch of excitement to finally have that version and get all the new stuff and the new events and all of that, the reality is that it also makes me a little bit sad to see this version go, because like I said, this is my favorite, and in this video I'm gonna be talking about why this version was my favorite. Before I jump into it though, if you like my content, please hit the like button on this video because it helps for the channel to be discovered, to be recommended to more people, and also subscribe because hey, why not? It's completely free, and remember that I post daily, so there's always something to watch around. But alright, first things first, I'm gonna give you a tour of the zombie version of Asphalt 9 that we have right now, and I call it that because there's literally nothing going on right now. There's no season, there's no legend pass, there's no special events, there's no daily events at all, and there is no multiplayer. There's nothing to do. I guess you could do some showroom or career if you feel so inclined, but there's no events going on, and this was completely planned because like I said, by tomorrow, Asphalt Legends Unite will be dropping. In fact, it will be probably under 12 hours by the time I'm releasing this video. By the time it's out in my YouTube channel, it's under 12 hours before Asphalt Legends Unite drops. So, Gameloft made sure to have a bunch of time where you could claim all of the things that you may have still pending. Rewards from the daily events that finish, rewards from multiplayer. So if you haven't claimed it just yet, if you're watching this video when I'm releasing it or very close to when I'm releasing it, and if you haven't opened the game in a couple of days, go ahead, open it and claim everything, because if you wait until Asphalt Legends Unite drops, all of those things that were pending to claim will be gone. They will be lost. So go ahead, do that. But alright, let's talk about this version of the game and why it's my favorite. First, I'm gonna give you a very brief introduction as to why I started playing this version of the game, while I do a random race in career, because at least we should have some pictures moving while I'm talking. But yeah, why did I start playing this version of the game? Simply put, for Lamborghini. I had been playing the global version of the game for about maybe a year before I started playing the Switch version. And you know, I played the global version on Android, and I learned little by little how to play the game, and I had my garage and all of that, my collection. But I knew that I had missed on a bunch of cars because I saw, oh, there were events for Lamborghini and all of that is long gone. Oh, well, I missed out on it. I will never get those cars, whatever. And then one random day on YouTube, I get a suggestion of a video about the Lamborghini Sienna special event. And I knew that that event had already happened in Global quite a long time ago, and I had completely missed it. So I'm like, oh, well, RIP for me. So when I see that video being suggested on YouTube, I thought, oh, it's just an old video showing up right now. But then I realized that it was a video that had been really recently released a few days ago, and I'm like, wait, why are they talking about the Sienna event if that ended months ago in Global? What's going on? And that is when I realized that the Nintendo Switch version of Asphalt 9 was behind in the event. Quite a bit behind, over a year behind. And I was like, wait a second, so you're telling me that if I install Asphalt 9 on my Nintendo Switch right now, I will be able to do those type of events? Amazing. And that is when I installed the game, and well, ever since I started playing it and continue playing it, and man, it certainly became my favorite version. But why did it become my favorite version? Well, it's because of a bunch of little things, and one very big thing that seemingly not a lot of people care about, but to me, it's such a massive deal. And spoiler alert, no, it's not the advantages that we had on the Switch for the hunts and whatnot. Though, those things were pretty nice, to be completely honest. Let's talk about that. One of the very first things that jumped in my mind, whatever. One of the first things that I noticed when I started playing this version of the game was the refueling time of the cars was different. I was already used to the refueling in Asphalt 9. I was used, for example, to a DSC-10's refueling in 15 minutes. That's how it is in Global. However, when I started playing this version, and again, because I was playing from scratch, you couldn't transfer your account or anything. I was playing from scratch. I had to replay the early part of the game, as anybody would have to do. And I realized really quickly that, wait a second, this DSC-10 is not refueling in 15 minutes. It's 2 minutes. What? Yes, the refueling time was way lower here on the Nintendo Switch. How much so? Well, I just gave you the most extreme example, right? 2 minutes. That's crazy. But, for example, Class C cars normally would take, what, like an hour and 30 or so to refuel in the global version? Global, I just mean, you know, Android, iOS, For a classic car that would take an hour and a half or so in global, over here would take maybe half hour. A car in Class B that normally would take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, over here would take 40-something minutes. A Class A car that would take anywhere between 3 to 4 and some hours, I think it's like 420 or something, over here would take 1 hour. And finally, for Class S cars that take anywhere from like 5 to 6 hours to refuel, one single car over here would take an hour and 12 minutes. Big difference. Now, why was that? Well, that has to do with the fact that, again, first of all, let's remember that while there is now Asphalt Legends Unite on the Xbox and on PlayStation and all of that, the first console version of the game was indeed the Switch version. So when they released the Switch version, they released it over a year after the global version had been released, and they decided to start from scratch because it only makes sense so that people could do all of these events and whatnot, right? So in doing that, they also realized that on the Switch they could not have ads running. And it was sort of unfair. And I know, by the way, I know that some people are going to have problems with me saying that, but let me describe things as it looked at the time. People were going to have problems to have to wait for 6 hours for their car to refuel, while on the global version, yeah, it's 6 hours, but you could watch an ad or two and decrease it by 20-25%, and some more, and suddenly instead of being 6 hours, that might be 4 hours. You watch more ads, it becomes 2 hours. You watch some more ads, you refuel it in 30 minutes, and that's about it. So there was that possibility in the global version, but over here, because there were no ads, they were like, okay, they can't do that, so instead let's make it so that the refuel times, it's faster. You still have to wait, and if you want to skip the wait, you still need to spend tokens, but you don't need to wait 6 hours, because otherwise you would have absolutely no way to decrease that wait time. And obviously that's really good, because if you don't own the Legend Pass, for example, and you have a car with 3 fuel, well, you do your 3 races and you no longer have to wait 6 hours, you have to wait an hour and a tiny bit, and then your car is ready to be used again. So maybe you can drive with your other cars, in an hour, you're able to drive your 6-star whatever car that only had 3 fuel. And that is honestly a fantastic thing, and that made it so enjoyable for me, because even though on this version of the game becoming my favorite, I started buying the Legend Pass religiously. Ever since then, I bought every single Legend Pass, and I had the extra fuel from that, but still, having those really low refuel times were absolutely dope, because I could focus on, oh, I want to drive my Lamborghini Veneno, which I didn't drive too much, but still, or whatever, my Bugatti Chiron, for example, and oh, I only have even 7 fuel with all of the extra fuel from the Legend Pass. Okay, I play my 7 races, then I switch to some other car, and in an hour I get to play again with my Chiron and do another 7 races, because it only took 1 hour as opposed to 6. So that was a fantastic thing. I really enjoyed that. And again, I understand that by now the other consoles do have to wait the 6 hours, and they don't have ads either. I understand that, all right? So you don't need to be like, DBT, this is how it is for everybody. I know that by now. But I'm saying what made it so special for me when I started playing this thing years ago, seeing that difference between global and the Switch version. And there was another similar advantage related to the lack of ads, and that was car hunt. Let me just finish this race, because why not? By the way, I should drive this car more. I kind of like how it looks. A little bit funky, but kind of nice. Now, you know that in global, car hunts have always cost 2 tickets. And sure, you nowadays can get the what is it called? The event pass or whatever to make it 1 ticket. But here on the Switch, it has always been 1 ticket. Even before the Legend Pass was a thing, it was always 1 ticket. And again, the logic was the same. If there's no advertisements, how are players going to be able to complete the car hunts? They can't, because you know you do your 5 races, and then you have to wait an hour and some for those to refuel, the tickets to refill, and then you do another 5 races. So instead, what they did is make it cost 1 ticket instead. So that allowed people here on the Switch to be able to do car hunts much more effectively and finish the car hunts, because honestly, it was fantastic. Even those car hunts for cars that had a lot of blueprints, that required a ton of blueprints, if you grinded it hard enough, you could do it. And it was absolutely fantastic. Nowadays, like I said, in the global version, oh wow, that was an incredibly short race. Jesus Christ, I was hoping for a little longer. Okay. So yeah, that was absolutely great to be able to do twice as many races to get your cars and whatnot. Also meant a lot of grinding, obviously, because now you have to do twice as many races in the same time and whatnot, but still, it was a fantastic advantage. And that, along with the lower refuel times, has been already confirmed by Gameloft that it's going away once Asphalt Legends Unite drops. That's right, they're gonna make us, and by saying make us, the Switch players, to follow the same rules that are followed in every single platform. And again, I mentioned this in other videos where there has been a lot of vitriol of people being like, oh, finally, the special kids of the Nintendo Switch are gonna have to follow the rules that everybody else has to follow. And to some extent, they are right. And I understand why there's some resentment, but also kind of says a lot about the people that say those type of things, that they enjoy seeing people get screwed over just because they have been screwed over for all this time, being like, oh, instead of being happy for someone that is having a good time somewhere else, they're like, no, you should also get screwed because I've been screwed all this time. I don't know, it's such a unhealthy mentality, but hey, I guess that's just humans, right? Either way, we the Switch players are gonna be having to follow the same rules, and honestly, while those advantages were pretty good to have, I'm honestly not particularly upset about all of this, because yeah, it's not fantastic, it's not ideal, but I understand, and honestly, there's other things that I'm gonna miss much more, and of that I will talk later. Something else to mention about the car hunts is that in the riots, because the player base here on the Switch is considerably smaller, you know that the riot rewards for car hunts is 1 and 5%, right? To get guaranteed blueprints. Over here it became 3 and 8%, simply because, again, since the player base is much smaller, the 1% was literally just a few, well, not a few people, but I don't know, 10 people or something like that. It was really low, so that they increased it to 3 and 8%, which is still means that not a ton of people are going to be able to get it, but at least it's not as crazy as only the top dogs of the platform can get those type of things. And kind of similar to the topic of not having ads to do refills or things like that. Another side effect of not having ads over here is that we do not have credit multipliers. And the way that they look to fix that is by making so that in car hunts, you know that in the car hunt packs, once you do the conditions, you get a pack. And the pack can contain the blueprint for the car, it can contain some random import parts, or it can contain credits. And normally car hunt credits containing those packs are going to be either 2,000 credits or 4,000 credits. What they did here on the Switch was double that amount, so it was either 4,000 or 8,000 credits in those packs. And that definitely helped, because obviously if you're grinding the living crap out of a car hunt, you're going to get a bunch of credits from that. That is a good thing. So those were some of those little differences that we've had in this version that helped a lot. And once again, it's because we did not have ads. And I understand, once again, for the 11th time in this video, that nowadays other platforms don't have ads and they still have to follow the harsh rules that Global has to follow. But in Global it's not a problem, or in mobile rather, because they do have ads. I understand that, but I'm saying, again, let's think about this before that whole thing happened. How the game was looked at when it was being developed for the Switch, where there were no ads, and they still were not as, what would you say, cynical to be like, well, you don't have ads, you don't get all those benefits, well, you're screwed, enjoy. Maybe it's because it was a different team, it was a Clutch team that was working on it, that they saw that indeed it would be a good thing to make up for the lack of ads in here. And one last thing to mention that wasn't a feature, but it still was an advantage that we had over here, it's foreknowledge. Because like I mentioned, this game was behind the global version. That meant that anybody that was paying attention to the global version knew what was going to happen in the future in the Switch. And how is that good? Well, obviously, because now you could plan ahead of things. We're like, oh, I know that around this time, it's gonna be this season, and in this season there's gonna be this burst of speed for these cars. I'm gonna save tokens so that I can get those. While when you're playing in the global version, those things just happen out of nowhere, and you're like, oh damn it, I wish I had some tokens to get this car, or whatever, right? So that is another thing that we had over here, that foreknowledge. Definitely that helped me a lot in order to grow my collection, specifically of Lambos, because I know, oh, this Lambo was gonna happen around this time. I need to make sure that I have tokens at that point, I need to be saving and all of that. So that was absolutely fantastic, and like I said, that is not a feature, that was really just a side effect on how they released the Switch version of the game, you know, basically starting the game from scratch, as opposed to just starting the game and being like, well, all the seasons have passed already, but hey, you just start playing from this point, deal with it, which is what they're doing now to the PlayStation. Fair enough. But yeah, so we definitely had those little advantages here and there, and like I said, all of that is going away. Gameloft confirmed the fact that there's not going to be lower refuel times. The car hunts, the last several car hunts that we have gotten already here on the Switch were already 2 tickets. They already had the normal credits as opposed to the double credits and the rewards, all of that stuff. So we know that all of that is going away, and the fact that they're releasing Asphalt Legends Unite sort of at the same time, only 1 month late, but around the same time that the general release of Alu existed, or when it happened, means that they want to synchronize the events as well, so that there's no like, oh, now the Switch players know that in 3 months time this is gonna happen. No, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a surprise for everybody, and if you weren't ready for it, sucks for you. But yeah, all of these things, like I said, little advantages, but I understand why they're going away, and I'm not particularly upset about it. Yeah, I don't like it. I would still love to have all of those things, but I understand, well, we won't have them anymore. And I do wish that instead of just completely screwing the Switch players in that sense, and people enjoying the Switch players getting screwed by all of these changes and being like, ha ha, now you have to deal with the same rules that we have had for all this time. I wish that instead of that, Gameloft was to be like, okay, let's find a middle point. Okay, yeah, not as good as Switch players have had it, but also let's make it so that the other consoles that don't have ads now, they, you know, it's made obvious that, yeah, there's some problems for the long refill time. So instead of 6 hours, let's make it 3. You know, things like that. I don't know. So I'm just more of the idea of, instead of enjoying people getting screwed, we should be looking for ways to make it better for everybody, including those other consoles. And by the way, yeah, I've been blind to that situation of the other consoles not having ads, because I've never played it in other consoles. Only very recently started playing the PC version. That's when I was like, wow, there's really no ads over here. And never played the Xbox version, so I never knew that was a thing. So only now I'm learning about it, and I'm like, man, it would be nice if they did have a little bit of a way to get ticket refills, to get lower refill times and all of that. But well, it is what it is, and unfortunately, if Gameloft already threw the Xbox and Windows player base out the window for all of this time, I don't imagine that they're gonna be changing anything now. But now I want to talk about the one thing that really grinds my gears when it comes to something that will be lost on the Switch version, which is, honestly, as much as I've enjoyed all these little things, the refill times, the car hunts, and all of that, so as much as I enjoyed that is not what made this version my favorite version of the game. What really made it my favorite was offline. What? Offline? Yes, that exists over here. Welcome to the other side of Asphalt 9 on the Switch. The only version of the game of all versions that existed that can be played fully offline. Now, let's not mince words over here. This is a very peculiar way of doing things where there's no progression in the game. There's no way to unlock cars, there's no way to upgrade cars, there's no way to even change color of the cars. The only thing that you can do in the offline side is drive the cars that you already own from the online portion of the game. But why do I care about this so much? First of all, let's have a look at split screen. Now, a split screen is a feature that it's available already in Asphalt Legends Unite in any platform other than mobile, but you have a split screen, so it's not a problem. So you might be thinking, well, this is not a big deal. But you know what is the difference between the split screen of Asphalt Legends Unite and the split screen of Asphalt 9 on the Switch? Offline, indeed. In those versions of Asphalt Legends Unite, you need to be connected. First, you need the game needs to validate that there's a connection, an internet connection to the server so that they can validate it's the proper version of the game. And then you can access split screen, and you need to have online at all times. Over here, I'm completely offline. And in fact, that is why you don't see anything else highlighted. There's no... On the bottom, there's no shop deals, special events, daily events, all of that stuff. It's gone. You cannot access any of that. You only have access to these two things. But again, if you're without internet, you can still go ahead, boot up your Switch, plug another controller, and then you can play with something that is right next to you. And that is a fantastic thing. And I'll talk more about why this matters so much to me. Because, oh boy, offline is something that I'm very passionate about. Now let's have a quick look at Quick Race. And I'm gonna go into one of these races. Well, I guess I should explain. Here in Quick Race, let's ignore custom race, but over here, all this thing that I'm browsing right now is a mini career that exists in this mode of the game. And what that means is that I say that it's a mini career because there's progression in, oh, you cannot go into any of these races, you need to first have completed this many. Imagine it's sort of like a special events, right? And you need to do conditions, in this case are challenges, and then you unlock the rest. And it's a lot of races, there's over 100 races like this, and it's a lot of fun because some of these challenges can be indeed a little bit peculiar. You need to do all of the challenges in basically one run and whatnot. It gets really, really fun. But I know what you might be thinking, and let me go and do some of these races, but I know what you might be thinking. Maybe you're the type of person who's saying, DBT, why would you want to do this? Obviously, this game is all about multiplayer. It's all about, playing against a bunch of other people and see how many people you can beat and all of that. Why do you want to play against the AI? Everybody knows that the AI is dumb. You're always going to beat it. So why are you talking about this as if it was such a big deal? Well, because to me it is. While it is true that the bread and butter of this game is the multiplayer side where you can find most of the fun and whatnot and blah 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 blah, the reality is that I like this game also simply because I like driving in games. And even if it's absolutely nonsensical driving like this and doing stunts and all of that, I like the process of being able to play. And you might be thinking, but why do you care about it being offline? Everybody has connections at all times nowadays, so why does it matter that a game is no longer offline? Well, first of all, you not always have connection. Yeah, you might be living in a hyper-connected world, but what happens if you're in an airplane and you're in airplane mode? You cannot play the game. What happens if you're in the subway and over there's no signal at all for some reason? You cannot play the game. And that's something that happened to me a lot. Wow, that was a short race. Oh wait, no, I'm not even done. Oh, it's a 3-lap race or something? Okay, whatever. So that would happen to me a lot when I would be on the subway playing on my phone, Asphalt 9, and I get in the middle of the station. There's no internet in the middle of the station, and my game could no longer connect to the Jesus Christ. Could no longer connect to the server, and I just lost my tickets because, well, it did validate I started the race, but I lost connection, and that's done. So that's another moment you don't have internet, but again, maybe you live in a place where you do. But what if there's an outage? Whether it's a power outage or an internet outage. If it's an internet outage, well, you're screwed. And if there's a power outage, you're screwed as well. Yeah, you can play the game, you could bring up your Switch in handheld mode with the battery, but there's no connection, so that's it. You cannot play either. So all of those are little moments in which this matters a lot. But even more importantly than that, much more important to me than those little moments when you don't have internet connection is for the sense or for the purpose, excuse me, of preserving games. Game preservation to me is what really matters when it comes to a game not having an offline mode. And this is a topic that I'm passionate about. And maybe that's just simply because I am an old man and I look at things from the experience of playing in, for all these years and games that get lost, completely lost, forgotten about once, I should be doing knockdown, once the server shut down. Think about of any live service that exists right now. And again, I don't play many games like that, so I don't know. But think of any of those games that are always online. The moment that the textures went away. The moment that the company decides to shut down the server, guess what? You can no longer play that game ever again. Why? Because the company was like, nope, you will not have access to the game anymore. I said that this game is only good from this to this date, and after that, that's done. And granted, one could argue right now, like, come on. But it's obvious that Gameloft wants to keep this game alive with Asphalt Legends Unite. That's why they invested a bunch of money into rebranding it and the new looks and all of that stuff, the new engine, whatever. All of that stuff. It's obvious that Gameloft wants to keep this game alive for a long time, and that is true. But that long time might be 5 years. Maybe it's 10 years if we're lucky. But what happens in 20 years once I want to remember Asphalt 9 and I'm like, oh, that's right, but I cannot play anymore because the servers are gone. And I understand that to some people this might sound like nonsense. Like, come on. By the time this game is over and the server shut down, there's probably going to be already Asphalt 11 or something like that. You're going to be able to play that. So why do you care about Asphalt 9? But again, probably because I am an old man and I did not manage to get the conditions. I did some of them, but I did not get the barrel, so I need to redo it because I want to complete all of them, so yes. Maybe I should have switched cards to make it a bit more interesting. Oh well. To me, it matters to be able to play this game in the future. In 10 years, 15 years, when I go like, oh, I remember that there was this game that I used to play where you could play this with this Lambo that was only available. What was it called? Oh yeah, the Lambo SC18. That car was not available in any of the game, but Asphalt 9 had it. Oh, I wish I could play a little bit with it. But guess what? You can't. That is why, to me, game preservation, it matters. It matters quite a bit. I'm trying to knock down these guys. And having an offline mode makes that the game can be preserved, because it no longer needs to connect. For this game, in order to boot up, it no longer needs to connect to the server, so it can be played by itself. And yeah, the game doesn't have any progression system or anything, but at the very least, you can still play the game offline with whatever you had in terms of car. And that reminds me, for example, of games that I played many years ago, like Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit, a game that I probably the first proper racing game that I got into when I was young. That's a game from 1999. And guess what? I can still install it and play it. Why? Because it didn't have an always online connection required. And again, I bring all of this because it is extremely likely that we're gonna lose the offline portion of this game. Gameloft hasn't outright confirmed it, but they haven't denied it either. So now, the whole thing with Unite, they fired... I already made some videos talking about how they fired the Clutch team. The Clutch team was the one that were working on this version of the game on the Switch. They were probably the ones that added this offline component to the game and all of that stuff. And now, the Clutch team has been fired. Oh, I should have gone for the barrel roll. Damn it. I still need to do one more. I think I still have opportunity somewhere. There's the knockdowns. I need one more barrel roll. Come on. I'm playing this as if it was Rap Syndicate that I have to knock everybody. Oh, is there any other barrel roll at all? Or did I just miss my opportunity again? Wasn't there a ramp here? One last ramp at the very end, right? I think there's one. That should be the one. Yeah, there it is. All right, great. Gameloft hasn't confirmed or denied that offline, whether it's gonna be there or if it's gonna go away. What? I did it! It didn't... Okay, you know what? I'll just move on from this race. I think I still have enough conditions to get to the next races. But they haven't denied or confirmed whether or not that's going to be there. But the fact that it's this team that has been working on Asphalt 9 for all this time, the same team that has never wanted to add a quick race mode, offline mode, or anything like that, makes me think that they are not going to put an ounce of effort into preserving this game mode. So I do believe all of this stuff is going to go away. That makes me honestly really sad to see the main thing that makes this my favorite version of the game to go away. Again, all those other little things, the refill times, the car hunt tickets, the more credits on the car hunts and all of that, those were really nice things to have. But that is not what upset me that I'm gonna be losing over here. And by the way, I could still be wrong, alright? There's still a possibility that we will have an offline mode of Asphalt Legends Unite here on the Nintendo Switch. And if that is the case, I promise you that I'm gonna make a video talking about it, being like, you know what? I was wrong. I admit it. I'm gonna eat my shoe, not literally. But yeah, that's it. I was wrong, and there's offline, so nothing to worry about. The game can still be preserved. Lovely stuff. And if that is the case, the better. I'll gladly accept I'll gladly admit my mistake, because that is still a thing that will make me happy. But honestly, I doubt that's going to be the case. And man, just knowing that we're going to lose the opportunity to play this game in 30 years when we decide to come back to it is what makes me sad quite a bit. I said that, and maybe some smart people already figured out a way to get this thing still going, even after Asphalt Legends Unite happened. But that is something that, at the moment, I cannot really comment on much, because my information is very limited. But let's hope that indeed at some point someone will figure out a way to continue playing this game, even after the server shut down. And this is actually an idea that I had, and I wish Gameloft would listen. Why don't you tell me, guys, what you think about this idea? I was talking about it on a stream where I said, you know what would make me shut up about this whole thing of losing offline? If, when the servers were going to shut down, Gameloft were to release a version of Asphalt 9 that was completely offline, and I would be happy to pay for it. For them to be like, all right, we're shutting down Asphalt 9 as a live service. We have rebalanced the game. You can unlock cars and whatnot. Wow. Oh, it's 2 laps. Okay, I'm like, I missed a lot of nitro board, but okay. They were like, okay, here's a completely rebalanced version of the game. You're gonna lose all of your progress. You start from scratch, but it's a completely rebalanced game. It's its own thing now. It doesn't have an online component, but you can play a bunch of career races. You unlock cars. You have quick race so that you can continue playing. And we're gonna sell you this game for $60 or whatever. I would be honestly happy to pay for that, just so that I could continue playing this game, even without the multiplayer and all of that. That's how much I care about being able to play a game that I enjoy. Sure, the multiplayer is the fun in this, but the driving is also part of the fun in this game. And that's why I love even just racing against the AI, because it's not about, oh my god, the AI is catching up with me. Because you can see that the AI is not catching up with me, and I don't know why I wrecked over there. I didn't mean to do that, but okay. It's not about the competition against the AI. It's the fact of, oh, I'm bringing my Bentley GT3. It's a beautiful car, and I love it, and I get to drive a little bit with it. That is what I really enjoy about this game, and what I would hope that GameLove would be okay with providing a different version. What do you guys think? Would you, if GameLove was to tell at the end of the service of Asphalt Legends Unite, okay, that's it, we're no longer supporting this game, but here's a way in which you can continue playing this game. If you so wish, you need to pay, but it's a full-on game in which you're going to be able to unlock cars, all of the cars over time and whatnot. Would you pay for that? I honestly, definitely would. And I missed 1 nitro bottles. Well done, DBT. Well done. I would absolutely do it. I would pay for it because that's how much I care about this game. But anyway, this video was just to talk about these little things, all of these things that, like I said, has made this version of the game very special to me. And once again, it's something that we're losing, something that is going away. And well, all I can say right now is Asphalt 9, especially on the Nintendo Switch, I am going to miss you. I love this version of the game. I love being able to bring it up, not have to worry about fuel in this game, in this offline portion of the game. I love this whole thing. And well, it's going away, but you know, here's to hopefully brighter futures in which maybe Asphalt Legends Unite will have an offline mode and it will be really good. We'll see what happens. Once again, Asphalt Legends Unite will be releasing in under 12 hours approximately from the time this video is going live in my channel. So if you haven't claimed your rewards, go ahead, open your game on the Switch, claim your rewards, get everything that you can, and be prepared to get Asphalt Legends Unite on the Switch. And just as a quick reminder, still, no cross-save, so you won't be able to move your account to or from the Switch. If you have an account on the Switch, it stays on the Switch. If you have an account in Android or whatever other platform, it stays over there. You can put it on the Switch. I just wanted to mention that real quick because a lot of people are still a bit confused about it. So there you go, a quick reminder on that. So yeah, why don't you tell me in the comments what you think about this whole thing? What are you gonna miss, if you're gonna miss anything in particular about the Switch version of the game? And I didn't even mention Gasless Drift, but I already made a video on that. I'm okay with Gasless Drift going away, though it was a lot of fun. And I imagine a lot of people are gonna miss that. But let's say, other than Gasless Drift, what else are you gonna miss of this version of the game, if anything? And how excited are you about Asphalt Legends Unite on the Nintendo Switch? But alright, that's gonna do it for this video. Once again, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, all of that good stuff. And once again, Asphalt 9 in the Nintendo Switch, I'll miss you. I loved you. I'll miss you. Alright, see you in the next one. Bye bye.